So certain situations are definitely uh, more high stakes than the other. There's no doubt about that, right? That you're doing. However, in my experience, and you know that my experience is very, very wide in dealing with people and talking to them,
Hmm.
I would still tell you that however high stakes the situation is, one presentation very rarely is like impacts your career that much. And we have a tendency, by the way, of overplaying the importance of one presentation and underplaying the importance of what happens on
Hmm.
365 days a year, right? It's a very
Hmm.
natural human tendency to overestimate some event in some way and sometimes hold that event responsible for your success or failure, right? So I would still go out, however high stakes the situation you think it is, I would still say that is true. Right now,
Hmm.
secondly, like we discussed in our earlier class, the mindset that you need to have around presentations is that your work in progress, and not that
Hmm.
this is it. Don't have that
Hmm.
mentality. Have a work in progress. So even a high stakes presentations, you need to look at it as, okay, you know what, I'm trying to get better at presentations, and this is one more challenge for me in my journey of getting better at presentations. I may screw up
Right.
from this, I will learn a lot, because the only way that you really learn is when you're put in those high stakes situations, right? That's
Correct.
the way you will kind of learn something. And in a way, Arunima, I often, when I'm doing classes on presentation skills, often compare it to a cricket situations, right? Because what tends to happen as a sports person is, you're in college, you're in school, you're playing school level cricket, and there's school level pressure while you're playing that school
Hmm.
level cricket. And then if you can handle that school level pressure, then you go to college level, right? And then you start playing
Correct.
college level cricket, and then there's college level pressure there. And then if you
Correct.
can deal with that, then you go to state level pressure. Then if you can deal with that, you go to national level pressure, so on and so forth, right? So often
Correct.
there is this journey that you take. Nobody's going to take you from school and just put you into international level
Right.
pressure, right? So there's that journey that you need to go by. Now, very often when you even go to the international level, you have very few chances in which you need to perform, right? And that's why you
Hmm.
need to study all the things of how to deal with the pressure, and then hopefully in 3 or 4 games you can perform and handle that
Correct.
pressure. Otherwise you're dropped again. You again need to deal with Ranji level or state level pressure, be able to deal with that, equip yourself more, come back into that high stake situation, try again. So that is the process that you need to follow, and there's no real magical way of doing it. However, that being said, Arunima, the more you study the topics that we've given you, right, all the presentation topics that we've given you, especially this one, the more you study this thing, the more you try to apply it on a day to day basis, I can also assure you that when you get to that real high stakes situation, you'll be able to deal with it far
Hmm.
better than you've dealt with
Got it.
otherwise. Hmm?
Got it.
Yeah,
So basically, you won't find yourself suddenly in a high stake situation. You're probably leading up to it, so that
correct,
by the time you get there, you're more or less prepared in terms of
correct.
dealing with that.
Correct. So before you're in front of a really high stakes customer, you would have done a lot of presentations with low stakes customers before you
Right.
get there. You would have done a lot of internal presentations before you get there, right?
Correct.
But again, the problem, Arunima, with most people is this point number three and one, and all of this around thought
Hmm.
processes. If you take every presentation and make a big deal out of it, right? Like it's the end of the
Correct.
world. Oh, this presentation is so important, and you make it the end of the world, then you're in a way over. That's what the point is about. You're overestimating the stakes for even a small simple presentation that you need to make. You make it a bigger deal than what it is. It almost feels like I'm talking to you personally, no?
Yeah. I feel like
It's
I've
like one
asked
of,
you these questions at some
yeah,
point.
yeah. You asked me this question at some point, right? And this is mistakes that people often make because they're not thinking right about that subject. Yeah. You had another question on business
I did.
development. Yeah.
Yes.